Welcome back to the deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at sexuality and spirituality.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and this will come straight from you guys, what you've been
Wow.
sending to us. And honestly,
That's right. Yeah.
it looks like a lot of you are really on these journeys of
hmm
self-discovery. So we're happy to help unpack it all, get to the bottom of it.
Absolutely. I think this source is going to be a great starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the core of our deep dive today is sexuality and spirituality, the unification of body and spirit.
Okay.
From Mental Wellness TV. Have you heard of them?
I have. Yeah. They put out some good stuff.
And get this. It suggests that we can actually use our sexual energy
Okay.
to fuel personal growth and maybe even reach spiritual awakening.
It's fascinating.
I know.
It really encourages us to look at sexual energy in a new way. Not just a physical drive,
Right.
but something more, something powerful,
Yeah.
something that can transform us.
Okay, I am intrigued, but how?
Well, the first thing this book really dives into is the connection between the body and the spirit.
Okay.
It argues that they're not separate, but two sides of the same coin constantly influencing one another.
I can see that when I'm stressed,
Yeah.
my shoulders get all tense,
Oh, for sure.
but my mind is also racing.
Yeah,
That's my body and spirit totally in sync.
you got it. The book actually uses that same example of
Yeah.
stress to show how connected our physical and mental states really are.
Okay.
But then it goes a step further. It brings up these concepts of ki and prana,
Oh, okay.
these vital energies that flow through us,
Right.
connecting our physical and spiritual selves.
I've heard those terms before,
Yeah.
but I could use a refresher. What are they exactly and how do they fit into all this?
So in traditional Chinese medicine, qi is this vital life force that flows through all living things.
Mm-hmm.
And in yogic traditions, prana is seen as this universal life energy that sustains us. So the source connects these ideas and suggests that becoming aware of this energy and cultivating it, can
Yeah.
really improve our well-being.
So it's we have this energy flowing through us
Yeah.
that impacts both our physical and spiritual health.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The book says that sexual energy is like a potent expression of this life force.
Oh, wow.
It's not just about physical pleasure,
Right.
but it's a deeper connection with ourselves
Mhm.
and maybe even a path to spiritual growth.
So by tapping into our sexual energy in a conscious way,
Yes.
we could unlock a whole
Yeah.
new level of development.
That's the idea, approaching sexuality with
Yeah.
a sense of reverence and awareness, understanding its power and using it for personal transformation.
Wow, that really reframes how I think about sexuality.
Right.
But I imagine there are specific things we need to do
Absolutely.
to really harness that energy, right?
There are, and that's what we'll be diving into next.
Okay.
The book talks about self-awareness
Okay.
and understanding our own desires and boundaries,
Okay.
which are so crucial for a healthy and satisfying experience.
It makes sense. I mean, if we don't even know ourselves,
Yeah,
how can we connect with someone else on that level?
exactly. And that self-awareness can actually lead to more confidence
Mhm.
and authenticity
Really?
in every part of our lives.
Wow.
It's
That's
so
fascinating. I can't wait to hear more. This is already making me rethink things. So let's take a closer look at how self-awareness plays into all of this in the next part of our deep dive. Okay, so we've established that sexual energy, could be this amazing force for transformation.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts with, self-awareness.
Right.
So how do we actually cultivate that, deeper understanding of ourselves,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to, sexuality?
That's a great question. And the source actually offers some practical advice.
Okay.
It suggests we start by just tuning into our physical and emotional responses during those intimate moments.
So instead of just, going through the motions, we should really be present
Yes.
in our bodies and
Mhm.
paying attention to what we're feeling.
Exactly. Noticing the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts that come up without judgment,
Mhm.
what feels good, what doesn't.
Okay.
What are you yearning for? What are you resisting?
It sounds like a mindfulness practice almost.
It is.
Like bringing that awareness from the meditation cushion into the
Insight.
bedroom.
That's a great connection.
Yeah.
The source emphasizes mindfulness throughout, and it makes sense, By being mindful,
Mm-hmm.
we create space to observe our experiences
Right.
without immediately reacting.
Okay.
So we become more aware of our desires, our boundaries,
Mm.
even our fears,
Yeah.
which helps us navigate our experiences
Mm.
with intention and authenticity.
So mindfulness helps us break free from those automatic reactions
Yes.
and choose how we want to respond.
Exactly. It empowers us to make choices that align with our values,
Yeah.
leading to a more fulfilling experience.
I can see how that would apply to not just sex, but like all relationships.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's about bringing that same awareness to
Right.
all our interactions.
Okay, so mindfulness is key.
Yeah.
But what are some other techniques that the source suggests for integrating spirituality
Okay.
into the bedroom?
Breathwork is another one.
Okay.
It talks about conscious breathing, not just for relaxing, but for deepening the connection with ourselves and our partners.
I've noticed that when I'm like anxious or disconnected,
Yeah.
just taking a few deep breaths can really help me ground myself.
Exactly. And the book suggests we can use our breath to enhance intimacy.
Okay.
It even mentions synchronized breathing with a partner
Wow.
to create an energetic connection.
That's fascinating. It makes me think about how our breath is like this link between our physical body and our energetic body.
Yeah. It is fascinating. It's another way to use these simple practices
Yeah.
to tap into a deeper connection during intimacy.
This is making me rethink how I approach sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the physical act,
Right.
but about bringing in all these other elements.
Yes.
Mindfulness, breath work, energy,
Exactly.
to create a more like holistic experience.
That's what the source is encouraging us to do.
Right.
It challenges us to see sexuality as a sacred connection,
Yeah.
a potential pathway to, spiritual growth.
So we're talking about transforming something that's often seen as
Yeah.
purely physical into a spiritual practice.
You got it. And it suggests that by doing so,
Yeah.
we can unlock these profound levels of intimacy, pleasure, and even spiritual insight.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering how this approach like plays out in the real world, especially with all the like conflicting messages and expectations we're bombarded with about sex and relationships.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
It's no secret that we live in a world
That's
that
right.
often, objectifies sexuality, making it hard to connect with its sacredness.
Exactly. So how do we navigate those external pressures while also honoring our own, internal compass,
Okay, and
this deeper understanding?
the book acknowledges these challenges.
Okay.
And it gives us some guidance. It talks about staying true to ourselves,
Okay.
setting healthy boundaries,
Right.
and communicating openly
Okay.
with our partners.
It sounds like honest communication is crucial
Yeah.
for creating that safe and trusting space
Yes.
where both partners feel comfortable exploring their desires and needs.
Oh, you nailed it. Open communication is essential for building intimacy
Right.
and making sure everyone feels, respected
Okay.
and heard.
So we're talking about a more conscious and mindful
Sure.
approach
Oh.
where we're tuning into ourselves, to
Yeah.
partners, and the energy between us.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what works for you
Yeah.
and your partner
Mm-hmm.
and creating an experience that feels authentic and
Ooh.
fulfilling.
I love that. It's about reclaiming our power
Yes.
and creating a sexual experience that aligns with our values rather than just conforming to expectations.
Beautifully said. And speaking of feeling empowered,
Yeah.
the source also explores this connection
Okay.
between sexual satisfaction and overall well-being.
And that's something I'm definitely interested in. Let's dive into that in the next part of our deep dive. All right, so we're back and ready to jump into this connection the book talks about between
Yeah.
sexual satisfaction and overall well-being, like mental wellness.
Yes, it's a fascinating aspect the book explores.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious that feeling good in the bedroom,
Yeah.
probably translates to like feeling good in general.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see how the book like actually dives into that.
Well, it does more than just say, good sex equals happiness. It gets into the science.
Oh, okay.
Explaining how sexual satisfaction triggers the release of endorphins.
Oh, those feel-good chemicals
Exactly. Those are the ones.
that give us that like natural high.
Yeah, exactly. And the book emphasizes how those endorphins, they don't just make us feel good right then.
Right.
They can actually have a lasting impact.
Okay.
On our mood, they can reduce stress, even boost our self-esteem.
Oh, wow. So it's like a ripple effect. Those good feelings we get during intimacy
Yeah.
can actually like spill over into other parts of our life.
Precisely. Our sexual well-being is connected to our overall well-being.
Okay. That makes total sense. But what about like the opposite?
Mhm.
What happens when we're not feeling fulfilled in
Yeah.
our sex lives.
Well, the book talks about that too. It points out that neglecting those needs and desires
Right.
can lead to a bunch of issues, like
Yeah.
anxiety, depression,
Wow.
even problems in our relationships.
It's like ignoring any other part of our health.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't take care of our sexual well-being,
Yeah,
it can throw things off balance.
that's right. It's about taking a holistic approach, recognizing that our sexual health is just as important as the rest.
This whole conversation has been, like, so eye-opening.
I know, right?
It's made me rethink things, for sure.
Me too. This deep dive has shown us how important it is to approach sexuality with intention and awareness,
Right.
and a real sense of reverence for its power.
It's not just about seeking pleasure, it's about understanding the potential
Exactly.
to connect with ourselves, our partners, and maybe even something bigger.
Absolutely. And it's a journey,
Right.
There's no one right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what works for you and honoring your own expression of sexuality.
That's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
So as we wrap up our deep dive,
Yep.
what, key takeaways are you taking with you?
The thing that really stuck with me is the idea of sexual energy as this force for personal evolution. It's a reminder that it's not something to be ashamed of
Right.
or suppress, but a tool we can use for growth, for creativity, and for deeper connection.
I love that. Reclaiming our power and using it intentionally to create a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. And I hope our listeners feel inspired to start their own journeys, approaching sexuality with curiosity and respect and a sense of wonder.
I couldn't agree more. And to our listener, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
For sharing these sources with us. It's been a pleasure diving deep into these ideas with you.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear what resonated with you from this episode.
Yes, let us know.
Until next time, keep diving deep.